because for them they say they should not be given compensation. That's what the Attorney General says. But what we can do, we wait for a report from public service entity by entity. We want entity by entity. Because you said you are ready. You are ready. You brought certificates of financial implications. We agreed and we said, okay, if you want it, have it. And now that you failed to pay these people, we don't want these people to continue suffering. And then these people have worked for this country. These people have worked for this country. And what we need is fairness in the whole process. We need fairness in the whole process. Let's have a report on people who have been paid, those who are pending, and what kind of payment are we talking about. Yes, government.
Madam Speaker, we shall bring the report on Tuesday next week, detailing institution by institution. Clarification?
And the process of absorption, their members were supposed to be absorbed in the parent ministries. The process of absorption is as chaotic as that of REA. We need that process to be done in a smooth way. You cannot say, because I have been working in this institution, so you should go through public service again. How? I thought you are absorbing me because you've taken over the job that the institution, so I am going to be absorbed in that department in the ministry. Huh?
My clarification no means as you are allowed. Madam Speaker.
No, I am still communicating.
Madam Speaker, from the report received from the Minister of Public Service, he appears to be on top of the situation. And he raised a number of challenges and also the solutions to those challenges, including those issues that we are talking about, Madam Speaker. So on Tuesday...
On top or under? To the best of our knowledge, is under the station. It's not on top of the station. Because we have so many people out there crying. People are supposed to be absorbed. People are supposed to be paid, those ones whom they think are not. We need a report. Yes, there is information from Odoro.
Thank you, Madam
I'll
Speaker.
give you to speak, don't worry.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Bahati was in charge of Ministry of Finance. There is a serious ripple effect arising of people suddenly losing their jobs and losing their spending power. One of the reasons why the inflation is going up, it's because people are now home, they cannot spend, they have lost their jobs. And soon, the economy, the minister here, this economy is going to suffer because of that. But the major point is, if you come to Parliament, a serious institution, and then explain to us that allow us take this policy shift because we have the money, and then when Parliament has done its part, you go and renegade on that agreement. You go and refuse to pay those people. You make Parliament look unserious. Because we ask this question, some of the agencies, you were even in a hurry. The minister here even suspended some rules and said we are ready to implement as soon as tomorrow. And the money is available. So who has eaten the money meant to pay the terminal benefits of those people? Who? And you are known for being very corrupt. This government, the IGG's report says that, have you eaten the money, the terminal benefits? Have you eaten the money? They should explain that, Madam.
And first of all, it is not about eating the money. It is about absorption of these people. Once you fail to absorb, that's when you pay them the terminal benefits. So let's have a report to that effect on Tuesday.
In addition to that, you see...
Rule 222.
Yes. government did not stop working.
I am referring you to a rule. I have already made a decision. I have already made a directive. So,
but Madam Speaker, it was useful. Yeah, because roads are broken. You know, to work on our roads.
Can you sit? I pity men who like quarreling. I mean.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Atkins.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to wish our Muslim brothers and sisters a happy month of Ramadan. And number two, Madam Speaker, before I make my point, I want also to join you, Madam Speaker, in congratulating the Deputy Speaker upon that coveted position. And that position, Madam Speaker, has brought out the leadership in you, the real leadership in you. Because who else? I mean, you're the Speaker. Somebody else would have like, okay, a position of chairperson, I want that too. But Madam Speaker, you've demonstrated, and I think that is a challenge for everybody, that this world is about bringing our heads together for a common good. Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it would now serve us a real good to aggregate these compositions that are scattered all over the country, Kasese inclusive, Madam Speaker. 1996, the 8-year camp attacked Kasese municipality, burned the cars and houses. Madam Speaker, they've never been compensated. Madam Speaker, same community or same Kasese in Kitoro sub-county, 10 L1 leaders were murdered in cold blood, in their internal organ thrown in their face for one crime because they.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, now I would rather, because compensations are all over the country, including TESO, Madam Speaker, can we have these aggregated and consolidated, brought here, so that we can find money for these people? But the reason why yesterday you did direct the Attorney General to come and give us a full account of what exactly happened with the NOP raid, the commanders that were involved in the raid, who sanctioned the raid, and why surely the raid would occur without the owners of the premises and then without a court order.
The report will be brought, Honorable.
Can we have, thank you so much.
We are going to have it. Honorable members, I would be unfair to only congratulate my deputy. I also want to congratulate Honorable Enos, who has been made the treasurer of Africa under CPA. Is a treasurer for the whole of Africa under CPA, and you can say something.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Before he comes,
let him say something. Honorable members, Honorable Asimwe has been representing me in the CPA, and I told him I have a lot of work here. The position that was supposed to be mine of a treasurer for the whole of Africa, I had to give it to yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First and foremost, the other day when I was making the report for that particular conference where I was elected as treasurer, I passed on my gratitude to you and the office of the Speaker for giving us the opportunity to always represent our country and, of course, Parliament on your behalf. most of the responsibilities we take on for these international committees are entirely delegated responsibilities of the Speaker. So without her support, without her empowerment, certainly we cannot represent you effectively. So I want to thank her. But in particular, Madam Speaker, though I had not communicated earlier, we usually make reports and present them on the floor, but at times we never get a chance to debate them. And the honorable ministers who are policy makers, because the purpose why we represent the Parliament in these committees, international committees, is to compare notes, have a pick one or two policies that might have an impact on our societies, or that we might share with our policy makers. But at times when we bring these reports, the policy makers at times do not take them up. I'll give an example of there's a declaration where even Uganda is a signatory on health financing. Something to do with, it was actually made in 2001, where all African countries had passed a resolution that we should, at least 15% of our budget should be going to the health sector. But we failed to meet this even 10% mark of our budget going to health. And some of the challenges we are having in the health sector is because we did not follow these recommendations. By the time that international, 54 countries sit and make a resolution, certainly they have shared experiences, and I think these experiences can be, if they are passed, they might help us possibly achieve certain issues. So my request to you, through you, Madam Speaker, is to push the front bench that when we bring these reports, or possibly we put a desk, that whenever we bring these reports, they pass them on to the relevant ministries, and they make action taken reports so that we understand that we are not wasting resources meeting every now and then without any impact on our communities. Thank you so much.
I think that's what we are going to do, and make sure that the reports reach the relevant ministries for us to be able to take action. Honourable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from St. Mary's College, Namagonga, from Lugasi Municipality. Where are you? You're most welcome. You're most welcome and very smart. That is in Buike district. They are represented by Honorable Serubala Stephen and Mutasingwa Diana. So you're most welcome. Join me in receiving them. And the bishop that is going to officiate the Ash Wednesday on Wednesday is from their archdiocese, our diocese of Mukono, Lugazi. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Next, yes.
Timeline to avoid raising this over a time.
Yes, Shadow. Switch on.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I had seen the Minister of Environment, but it looks like she has gone out. But since there is the Prime Minister acting, Right Honourable Speaker, Kigezi as a region has serious environmental issues, and those issues relate to the use of wetlands. In the 1940s and 1950s, the colonial government drained a majority of the wetlands and gave them to the people as their lands to grow crops and rear animals for milk purposes because of malnutrition then. Recently, the government has started forcefully evicting people from the lands they have owned since the 40s and 50s without complying with Article 26 of the Constitution, specifically without giving them prior and adequate compensation. We are finding it hard as leaders to advise them otherwise, because the only message we tell them is that the government can only evict them after it has compensated them. But some are already losing their crops and grazing lands because of the fear of forceful eviction. Can we hear from government what it intends to do to the people of Kigezi, particularly in respect of the lands they use and have owned since 1940s to date, if it still wants to restore wetlands? Can we have an assurance that we will first compensate them before eviction?
Madam Speaker, this issue was raised partly yesterday, and the government gave a response. At the moment, as you have rightly said, Honorable Nwagaba, these people who have titles in the wetlands and who are using the wetlands in Kawale are doing it not that they grabbed the wetland, but they went through the process of the government then. Now, there is no eviction, there is no forceful eviction of people from the wetlands. That's assurance we can give you. And also on Monday, His Excellency the President guided that the process of compensation for some of the land or the people owning the wetlands start. And the Attorney General was given instruction and he has started
There's an order.
Process. Thank you.
Yes, finished. Yes, Faith.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also wish to add my voice to the one of Honorable Atkins to thank you for allowing members participate in the international events like that CPA, so that now we are celebrating the election of the Deputy Speaker and for Honorable Enos into those very important positions. Right Honorable Speaker, I also wish to thank you in the same note for the delegation you sent to the Africa Parliamentary Union. And I would wish to announce to this House that we never came empty-handed last year. There are 2 members here who got elected. Honorable Betty Ithona-Luima got elected to the position of Vice President for the Women's Committee for the African Parliamentary Union. We also have the auditor of the Africa Parliamentary Union, the Honorable Remigio Achia, got elected, and this is a position they are serving for 2 years. I want to give you the credit, Right Honorable Speaker, because these members did not nominate themselves to participate, and I want to thank you for the support you've continued to render. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next item. Thank you.
Item 3 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2.
Honorable members, as you may recall, on Thursday, 6th February 2025, the Minister of Local Government tabled a notice for the extension of term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, that is LOC 1 and LOC 2s, pursuant to Regulation 12D of the Local Government Councils Regulations. The Speaker referred the instrument to the Sectoral Committee on Public Service and Local Government to scrutinize in accordance with the Section 175(3) of the Local Government Act, Cap 243. This provision of the Act grants Parliament 2 weeks to amend or revoke the statutory instrument, and if no amendment or revocation is affected, the statutory instrument shall be deemed to have been approved. the committee is ready to report on their findings. Please, Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am here to present the report of the Committee of Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2. Before I proceed, Right Honorable Speaker, I request to lay on table the report and the minutes of the committee. I beg to lay.
Please lay.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, on Thursday, 6 February 2025, the Honorable Minister of Local Government laid on table the notice of extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2. The instrument was referred to the Committee on Public Service and Local Government for consideration. Right Honorable Speaker, in order to save time, I request I skip the literature on the background, on methodology. I just go direct on the committee observations and the recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker, on the legal framework, Regulation 12D of the Local Government Council Regulations provides as follows: that the minister, by notice in the Gazette and in the newspaper of national circulation or media with the approval of the Cabinet, may extend, renew, may reinstate, validate a term of office of administrative unit councils from 5 years for further period not exceeding 180 days at a time, notwithstanding that the term may have expired where A, Uganda is at state of war, B, a state of emergency has been declared under the Constitution, C, any district or part of the district has been declared a disturbed area under the Constitution, or D, it has become extremely difficult or impossible to conduct elections for the administrative unit councils. The notice in issue was gazetted under General Notice Number 2827 in the Uganda Gazette and published in the New Vision paper on 18th December 2024. According to the Minister of Local Government, this was done with the approval of Cabinet and at its meeting of 25th November 2024 under the minute number 397 CT 2024, which approved the extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and 2, from 31st December 2024 for a period not exceeding 180 days. The committee further observed that the current office bearers were elected in 2018, and before that, the country had spent 17 years without elections for Local Council 1 and Local Council 2 leaders. The failure to elect new leaders posed questions of legality of office bearers and the decisions they made. Number two, the regulations allowed the minister to extend the term of administrative unit councils for a period not exceeding 180 days at a time, leaving room for unlimited extensions which can be subject to abuse. According to the Minister of Local Government, Cabinet directed that the administrative units and women council elections be aligned with the general elections, starting with the 2026 general elections. Observation in number 4, based on the plan to align the administrative unit and women council elections with the 2026 general elections, the Minister of Local Government would be required to issue 2 more extensions in line with the regulation 12D of the Local Government Council regulations. It is important to note that by 2026, the country will have spent 8 years without elections for the Local Council 1 and Local Council 2 leadership. Observation number 5, the alignment of administrative units and women council elections with the general elections will help to reduce costs, improve voter turnout, and the morale of all stakeholders in the election process. Number 6, local councils are the grassroots for service delivery and are the first line of contact for citizens. They handle crucial issues of citizenship, family matters, land transactions, security, administration, governance, and supervision and enforcement of government programs like parish development model and many other functions on behalf of government and their people. Failure to prioritize local council election structures undermines such duties. The extension of the term of office and failure to conduct the election of administrative unit councils has an impact on the citizens. It affects voters who have the right to choose leaders in regular, free and fair elections. According to the Constitution, in addition, political leaders who are fatigued and have lost interest to serve or have lost popularity among the voters still continue to hold the office. According to the Electoral Commission, observation number 8, according to the Electoral Commission, the elections will cost 52 billion 166 million for administrative units, while women councils or committee elections will require 45 billion 86 million, giving a total of 97 billion 252 million. However, if conducted simultaneously as part of the 2026 general elections, only 56 billion 134 million will be required for both, thereby reducing the cost by 39 billion 118 million. Right, Honorable Speaker, if the elections of LOC1s and women councils, if they are to be done together with the general elections, the country will save 39 billion. According to the Minister of Local Government, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development was directed to provide the resources needed to enable the Electoral Commission to conduct elections of LOC1 and LOC2 and women councils during the 2026 general elections. On a serious note, Right Honorable Speaker, as we are carrying out this report, despite several invitations to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to provide critical information to the committee to enable it effectively accomplish the task assigned to the ministry, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has continuously failed to honor our invitations. The committee recommendations. The committee recommends that, given Cabinet's directive to align the elections of administrative units and women councils with the general elections with effect from the next general elections of 2026, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should commit and avail the necessary funds for these processes. Recommendation number 2, the Electoral Commission should update its 2026 general election roadmap in line with the Cabinet directive. Recommendation number 3, since the extensions of term of office of the administrative unit councils have been purely due to the inability of the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to provide the necessary funds, and the fact that
they disregarded the committee's invitation, the Minister of Finance should assure this August House that this time around they comply with the directive of Cabinet and the recommendations of this committee. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you. Yes, Linda.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chairperson for the good report and also to support the recommendation that ministry should commit funds for election of LOC1. Madam Speaker, as ministry is planning to commit funds for the election, I would like to implore ministry also to commit enough money to facilitate the LOC1 chairpersons. LOC1 chairpersons are entitled to get their ex gratia. Madam Speaker, I want to inform you that the ex gratia they're supposed to get up to now, they don't get all the money. They're still getting piecemeals. They're entitled to get 120 every year. But if I give an example of LOC1s in my city, up to today they don't get that money. And Madam Speaker, as Parliament, since we are now in the budgeting process, we should plan to increase the ex gratia for the chairpersons LOC1. Because as we have seen, they are doing very great work. They are the ones who handle most of the cases. These are LOC1s who are not trained. We should also plan as we elect them to train LOC1s so that they are able to handle court matters very well at their level. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Yes, Madam Speaker.
Matchbox.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to support the committee recommendation. However, Right Honorable Speaker, in most cases, the executive of LC1 chairpersons, when we have meetings, they always complain that we only cater, the government only caters for LC1 chairpersons. In an event where there are no LC1 chairpersons, it's them to take over the offices. So the question has always been, we have the LC1s, how about the executives? This is the question they have always been asking us. Right Honorable Speaker, government should have a proper planning. The question should be, did we appropriate money to run the elections for all these lower councils, 1, 2, and the women council? If we do not have, and then this is the right time to appropriate the monies in this budget that is coming. And then secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, last Right Honorable Speaker, I think we should borrow a leaf from other countries, like Kenya. We should be able to have elections of LC1 up to president. Let it be conducted in one day, such that we save funds.
That's why you're starting with the presidential, parliamentary, coming down up to LOC1. That is the suggestion of the committee.
Thank you.
Mawawi. Wakraj. Then Max.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. I joined the rest of the colleagues to appreciate the reports from the Committee on Local Government and Public Service. Right Honorable Speaker, what came out very clearly, it is when the committee summoned, requested the Minister of Finance to appear before the committee to answer some questions. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm not a member of that committee. Right Honorable Speaker, we want to hear from
Honorable Okrash.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker.
You're a member of the committee?
No, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm not a member of that committee.
Okay.
I left. Right Honorable Speaker, we want to know from the Minister of Finance as to why they failed to appear before the committee to support the committee's report in regards to their line ministries. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, in my district we have some villages which are newly created. And we have members of the local council one with their executives fully fledged who are doing the acting positions. we would want to hear from the Ministry of Local Government. What are the plans for those acting LC1s in the newly created villages in our districts?
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, the LOC1s are complaining the bicycles you gave them are worn out, they don't have means of transport, and they are saying that instead of having bicycles, they should also graduate it to a motorcycle. That's what I was told in Amuru when I went to Amuru of recent. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I thank the member for the concern about the LOC1s who are in acting positions. The regulations say in the middle of the term, we don't conduct elections. And in the first place, some of these villages are not coded and they have no instrument created by the Ministry of Local Government. Last week, I corrected the 2 villages in my constituency where Electoral Commission went to ease the voting, to ease the distance, and alphabetically cautioned the directed the members of my villages from letter A to H. They created a polling post, a polling station. But the members there were rejoicing, when are we holding elections? So such a circumstances where Electoral Commission created polling posts to ease the election, and our members went ahead and created their own villages. Those villages are not known by the Ministry of Local Government. They are not coded and forwarded to the Ministry of Finance for funding, and that is the problem. Then I really take your passion, Right Honorable Speaker, that at the moment the bicycles are really outdated. And it's our plea that when government's pocket increases, praying that the oil turns into reality, they should graduate from bicycles to motorcycles. And I want to thank the President everywhere he goes these days. He appreciates the LOC1 and leaves them with a bicycle, which is a sign that is the hope where we are going. And I wish we could get there.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker,
Yeah. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to thank, first of all, the committee chairperson for giving us a comprehensive report. And I want to fully associate myself with the recommendations therein. Madam Speaker, allow me lean very heavily on this committee report and raise a concern as a vox populi of the people of West Budama North constituency regarding the long-serving LC1 chairpersons. Madam Speaker, here in Uganda, there are some LC1 chairpersons who have been serving in that capacity since 1986. First as members of the ad hoc committee, which ad hoc committee was renamed in 1987 as the Resistance Council. They continued serving up to 1994. In 1995, the Resistance Council was christened the local council.
What is the problem with serving for long?
No, they are saying that they have contributed enormously.
Why don't they leave if they feel they've been there for long? Because so many other people also want those seats.
No, just because the re-election has not been taking place as
no.
originally as possible.
It is just now that the elections have not taken place. Honorable members, what I thought you would talk about is the pay, increment of their pay, the ex gratia, their movement, the bicycles or motorcycles or whichever. That's what you'd be talking about.
This is what I want to say.
Madam Speaker.
And those ones who feel they have been there for too long. Free entry, free exit.
Madam, the point is that Madam Speaker,
Yes.
their point is that they have contributed enormously to the dividends of the democratic governance that we have in Uganda today.
Everybody has
stability.
contributed. Everybody has contributed. Let the money be given to these people. Whether you've contributed for 100 years or 2 years, let the money be given to these people.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Anifa.
Thank you, Right
Then
Honourable
I come
Speaker. I want to thank the Chair and the committee for the report. Mine is about the increment of the salary to the LCs. Currently, they are given 10,000 shillings per month, but my opinion is let them increase to at least 50,000 per month. Yeah, that is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Brenda. Fortunate.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Chair of the committee for the statement. And Right Honourable Speaker, I am in support for increasing the LC allowances. And also one critical thing, I realized that actually the extensions were about to, not because government didn't have money, Right Honourable Speaker, but according to his report, the Chair's report, they wanted to align these elections with the general elections. And by doing this, you disenfranchise those who wanted to stand for the LC positions. And that is not okay, Right Honourable Speaker. We need to have a good plan as a country, because if you say we will extend, you don't come to Parliament to say that we want to align, but we want to extend because there's no money, then you're lying to each and every person. That was in the report, actually. So, Madam Speaker, the ministry should be able to plan for elections now that they are recommending that they come in when we are
The
having
ministry has brought an extension. It has been gazetted. It is brought for us.
But Right Honourable Speaker, there's also a limit to extensions according to the constitution. You can't be like extending all the time. It shows that the government
does not have a limit. It does not have a limit.
But Madam Speaker, it still disenfranchise those who want to stand, and it is not okay.
Actually, we have delayed to discuss this paper. The 2 weeks from the time it was presented here have passed, so it is deemed approved. So let's talk about the welfare of our people, because those LOCs are our voters. Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would wish to add my voice on the issue of the welfare for LC1 chairpersons. Honestly speaking, in this economy, Madam Speaker, you cannot survive on 10,000 shillings even for a day. So it's quite absurd that LC1 chairpersons, who are actually the first unit of governance in our country, are paid only 10,000 shillings. And actually, in most places, this money doesn't even come on time. We have so many areas. So my proposal is that as we budget, we should budget for increment of the salary to cater for the welfare of this. Even 50,000 is little, because in this economy, members of parliament are earning how much? Look, LC chairpersons, yes, including of myself, then LC1 chairpersons should don't be selfish. They should also be paid
honourable
members.
Honourable members. Honourable members. Honourable members. Why don't you want your salary to be talked about? The honourable member is right. She says, let's increase the pay for LOC ones. Just as we are comfortable with ours, let them also get comfort somewhere. Yes, Alan?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also support the motion for this resolution, but also, Madam Speaker, in my area, we have had more than 40 LC1s dead. And this has left a huge vacancy because of failing to conduct such elections. So the ministry should find out means of replacing these chairpersons who have lost their lives, because it is endangering our areas and people have nowhere to go to. Sometimes the vice chairman who was left there had no mandate of the whole village because he was just appointed by the chairperson as per your regulations. These people are not voted for. Madam Speaker, that is the case in my area. About the welfare, it is thought about by people that the LOC ones earn from this stamp. They have a stamp, Madam Speaker, if you don't know, which stamp the government are given so much power that for everything to go on, you have to get an LOC1 stamp in your letter. Whether registration for what, application for jobs and what. So some LOCs have used this stamp very profitably. And when you enter that office of the LOC1 chairman, for one stamp like this, 10,000 shillings in some areas. If you calculate by 30 visitors of that village per day, that is 300,000 times 1 month, that is 9 million. So that is happening in villages. But madams who don't misuse that stamp, we would wish them to be added on about their welfare to about 200,000 shillings per village. I think that is not so much because we have so many RCCs, deputy RCCs, assistant RCCs, and all those earn amounts of money, and yet they are not there in the Constitution of Uganda. Thank you.
Man.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you. And I want to thank the chair of the committee for the report. Right, Honourable Speaker, as you are aware, my mother, who is making 70 now, is LOC1 chairperson of her village. Now, the neighboring village, almost members of that executive died. Almost all in the neighboring village. So what is happening is that people from the neighboring village come to my mother, who is the LOC1 chairperson, for services of the other village. And the problem, this one is asking me of which party, but she was RC, then became, and she has this disease. I keep telling her, when are you leaving? And she says, when Museveni leaves. So but that's her problem. That's her problem. But the point I am making, Right Honourable Speaker, is that the failure to fill this void has created such challenges. Actually, keep telling her you are going to be challenged. You cannot be acting in 2 villages. He says, what do I do? People are coming to my village to get services of stamps. So it's really a very big challenge that we must take very seriously. The fact that there is a void, and this scenario is not limited to what I am talking about. I know it's everywhere. Right, Honourable Speaker, it also goes to the issue of welfare. On the welfare, I don't know what criteria our colleagues in the central government used to set it at 10,000. I don't know the criteria. I therefore support the idea of enhancing the welfare of these LOCs.
Especially the one of your mother.
Right, Honourable Speaker, in principle, I support the idea of enhancing the welfare of these LOCs. But even more fundamentally, Right, Honourable Speaker, this 10,000 does not even come on time. I am sure colleagues here have been approached by these LOCs demanding and asking when their money.
There's a procedural matter.
Right, Honourable Speaker, the item that has been called item 3 is a motion for adoption of the report of the Committee
Adoption
of Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of term of office. Madam Speaker, this is a very specific motion that is not a generalized motion. And the trend of the debate is that we have now ventured into discussing the welfare of political leaders, which is still okay. Wouldn't it be procedurally right that at an appropriate time, a separate motion is brought to deal with the welfare of all political leaders? And we first dispose of the item we have at hand, and then we can discuss others, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I now put a question that the House approves the extension of the term of office of administrative unit councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2, pursuant to Section 175(3) of the Local Government Act, Cap 243, and Regulation 12D of the Local Government Council's Regulations. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Item.
Prayer through Madam Speaker, the Ministry. The Minister of Local Government stated here that some villages are not coded, and the extension is coming, as it has been passed. But can we get a record of LOCs? Because there are those who died. How are we extending their term when they are in the graves? And then those villages which are not coded, so that we get clear records of those we are extending in this motion. Otherwise, many LOCs have passed on, and we are extending leaders. But we need the information, Madam Speaker. Yeah, but could we get the coded villages in the country? Give us that information. Let's be laid on. No, I'm on procedure. So, Madam Speaker, we need to know who are those LOCs who are being extended. Because really, you extend for even the dead ones. And we continue with that. Ghosts. So, Madam Speaker, I am seeing members who are happy finding extension of dead people as LOC chairpersons. And it's very interesting. From Mr. Chairman, kindly address that, Madam Minister. Madam Speaker, that was my prayer. Can I repeat it? Madam Speaker, my prayer was asking the Minister of Local Government to give us names of villages which are coded. And then, as we extend, there are some LOC chairpersons bearing office who passed on. And we are making extension of LOC leaders who are in graves. If we get all this information, it's very vital to know who have been extended and the villages, because it's important. Otherwise, we cannot allow...
the LOCs who are in graves, there are some acting people. The vice chair.
But they are not legitimate by law. They are not legitimate.
Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Human Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill 2023.
Honorable members, we read this bill yesterday. It was the sponsor was supposed to move a motion. However, government asked for a day for them to be able to harmonize. I don't know if it has been harmonized, but I want to just make a reminder to government that government, when you look at Article 94, 4B of the Constitution, a private member has a right to bring a private member's bill, and I will not be seen to be the one to negate from that. Most of the bills that we have had, that we are proud of, that we've successfully passed in this House, that increases our number as a big number of bills passed, are out of private members. So here is a private member with a private member's bill. Over to you, government.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make a comment on this particular item on the order paper. We do recognize the rights of the private member and also the importance of this human-assisted reproductive technology bill, which has been discussed by the committee, and want to appreciate the contribution of the private member in moving this important bill. On the side of government, we feel strongly that there are some elements in this bill that there's some other issues related to reproductive health that need to be included in this bill. So we are proposing, Madam Speaker, I was appreciating the private member in moving this human-assisted reproductive technology, and given the importance of this bill on our population, there are some other elements that would want to include in this bill to make it more comprehensive. And on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health, we are requesting for additional
There's
time.
an order.
Right, Honorable Speaker, with due respect to government, we were here yesterday with the Minister of Health, my good friend who is sick. They committed to come back today. And even the Attorney General, they told us they are coming today to have the bill discussed, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we are here spending taxpayers' money in processing of these bills. Yesterday, my good friend, the Attorney General, showed unpreparedness. And when the colleague was submitting about how he was unprepared, he used the word that was unfriendly. And we all said, okay, we drop it. But I mean, you are moving us to the same direction. Right Honorable Speaker, when is government going to become serious and respect taxpayers and this parliament as, I mean, we are using taxpayers' money. This process has been handled for the last 3 months, handling a process. You've been part of this. Government has been part. There is no bill that is processed without the presence of government. Is my colleague, Honorable Bahati, dressed in a yellow tie in order to come and continue confusing this House? Right Honorable Speaker, is he in order?
Thank you so much. You know, they are of the same size. So, no, but she raises a pertinent issue. You answer the issue, leave alone the tie. But yes.
Chair, Madam Speaker, and honorable colleagues.
There is a procedural matter.
Right Honorable Speaker, making a law is the process. It starts with a bill. And if the acting Prime Minister says there is government interest where they will need to improve or to amend, so if they never came into the committee and we have already passed the bill, there is nothing that will stop government from amending the act if it has passed. So wouldn't it be procedurally right that we proceed and at an appropriate time government brings its interests or its amendments when the bill is passed? I thank you.
Honorable members, first of all, in the case of Honorable Dur versus, I remember Tojikwatako, that you cannot smuggle an amendment on the floor. I still remember that case in Mbale. So, even if there is a problem with this law, government will not bring in amendment on the floor. All what they can do is to The report has already been signed. I don't know.
Madam Speaker, and through you to the Prime Minister, I think we pray, make our work easy here. Sincerely, bringing a bill for the second reading, and then the Attorney General comes in to seek for audience to hold the bill. Yet we are coming with a report that has already been signed by members. Makes us look funny. And we beseech, we request you, you make our work hard, and you also give our Speaker a lot of difficulty in processing her work during the House. Because this is a bill that has gone through the committees, or the Committee of Parliament, where you were invited and attended physically. If you are not invited, then there's a challenge on the chair leadership of the committee. But I would pray, Madam Speaker, as sitting in for the rope, that let us have this occurrence once and for all, but such a behavior should not continue. Because as experienced legislators, you know what is meant by second reading of the bill. It is not signed by members.
Honorable members, the Prime Minister has something to say, but at the same time, I also don't want the ministers to put the Prime Minister in a very awkward position. A minister should not do this.
That Honorable Speaker and honorable members, you are aware Honorable Kawoya is sick. And the Minister of Health, now I know it is not. Honorable Muhanga is with the President in Ankole. Yes. And Honorable Jenna Cheng is handling a very delicate. And so, I know why they are not here. Right, Honorable Speaker, this bill is the motion for the bill to be on committee stage is not yet moved. And there is a precedence in this House, in the 6th Parliament, when Honorable Katuntu's bill on access to information was taken over by government. I want you to remember that Honorable Sarah Opendi was a minister in the Ministry of Health. We have been battling with this bill. We have been making a lot of adjustments. So I was of the view that, Right Honorable Speaker, you allow me to coordinate the ministers and the sponsor and the mover of the bill, so that we can come here with an harmonized position. Yes.
Honorable Asumani.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you. First of all, as we observed yesterday, it takes a lot of effort for a private member to process a bill. It takes a lot of effort. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, there is no bill that is referred to a committee and the government is not given the first priority to make presentations. It is not there. The chairpersons and clerks of these committees are under instructions to give the first opportunity or invitation to the Attorney General and the line ministers. And I am very sure even in this case, the Attorney General and line ministers were invited and consulted. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, it is also not true that at this stage, the executive cannot make amendments. What do our rules say, the position of the law? Amendments at this stage are allowed on two conditions. Number one, if they were not given an opportunity to present the amendments. Number two, if the opportunity was accorded and the committee rejected their proposals, then in that case, the rules allow amendments to be made here. So in that case, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to beseech you and seek your indulgence that you allow Parliament to proceed with this bill the way it is. If there are any amendments proposed, let's handle them on the floor, but not let it be seen to be frustrating private members who commit a lot of time and effort to fill the void which otherwise should have been made by government. Right on, Speaker, I beseech you that we proceed.
Honorable members.
Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. It is the government that is going to implement this bill. And it is government that is requesting for time. Give us just 2 weeks.
There is no, honorable members, 2 weeks. Honorable members, giving 2 weeks is not a problem.
What do you want to do?
I don't think that is a big problem. For one reason, the report is already signed. The report is uploaded. The report is ready for a debate. So if amendments, if you're going to reconcile yourselves on who moves it in the House, that is okay. The 2 weeks, Honorable Prime Minister, is not a problem. No, we've agreed. No, I don't want you to thank her. I don't want you to thank the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, today I've refused because I know it is an attack. Honorable members, in 2 weeks' time, this bill will come back on the floor. And Honorable Prime Minister, help us not to go against the Constitution. Because these members have powers to bring a private member's bill. Please. Thank you.
Item 5.
Prime Minister's time.
Item 5 on the order paper. Statement by the Right Honorable Prime Minister on government business for the succeeding week.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the wise ruling. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I move under Rule 26 of our Rules of Procedure to submit government business for the week of 4th to 6th March 2025. 1. There will be a submission of the ministerial policy statements by the ministers as required of Section 1313 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 146 of the Rules of Procedures of Parliament of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, number 2, we shall get a statement by the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development on the commemoration of the International Women's Day. Number 3, a statement by the Ministers of Gender, Labour and Social Development on the progress of the joint program of youth livelihood and women entrepreneurship in the country. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Item 6 on the order paper. Prime Minister's time.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, somebody was complaining of time, but we have always coordinated. Before I usually donate my time for business in the House.
Actually, you're even too early today.
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we received a question from Honorable Dr. Balimwezo Ronald Nsubuga, the MP for Nakawa East constituency. And he states that during this year's budget debate, the Minister of Works, through the Attorney General, assured the Parliament that funds for compensating project-affected persons along the Kampala-Jinja Express Highway were available And that, however, it is alarming that the majority of PAPs in his constituents have not yet been compensated. According to him, further compounding the issue is that the Ministry of Works has failed to declare the specific amounts allocated for compensating the PAPs. For over 7 years, according to him, PAPs have been unable to renovate their homes or construct basic facilities like pit latrines. And that many of these families have resorted to using flying toilets, kavera, creating sanitation and health risks, including the possibility of disease outbreaks. At the Kampala flyover, the Kampala-Jinja Expressway is one of the most bankable infrastructure projects, and its successful implementation should be a government priority. And his prayers are: 1, when will the Minister of Works release clear details of compensation packages for the PAPs? Then 2, what specific steps will the government take to ensure the affected individuals are compensated promptly so that they can resume normal lives and improve their living conditions? The third one is, what measures will be put in place to prevent such delays in future compensation for other national projects? Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, following the approval of addendum methodology for compensation of PAPs without legal rights or interests to the land they occupy, the asset inventory for the PAPs on public land in Nakawa East constituency was updated, and new valuation reports were compiled. The review of these reports is being finalized for submission to the Chief Government Valuer by the end of this month. After approval by the Chief Government Valuer, the values will be disclosed to the affected persons. The second question came from Songa Lawrence Biyika, MP Ola County Zombo. The 120-kilometer Nebigoli Paida Padea Zombo Zeu Wa Vura Rea and Adramachaku Economic Revenue Generating and Border Security Road appeared in NDP 2, NDP 3, and the NRM Manifesto. Why is it still appearing to be at the feasibility stage in the NDP 4, yet the final detailed engineering design for tarmacking was completed in March 2018? Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the feasibility studies and detailed designs for the upgrading of the Goli Paida Zombo, Zowa Vura, and Arualia 15 kilometers was completed in March 2018. The Ministry of Works and Transport is in touch with the Ministry of Finance to ensure commencement of the procurement of civil works contractor. Civil works expected to commence in the financial year 2025-2026. His second prayer is, what is the progress of seeking funding from Badea, African Development Bank, and others for prioritizing the tarmacking of this road in NDP 4? My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that Badea carried out an appraisal for upgrade of Nebi Goli 16 kilometers during the period and that was 26 February to 4th March 2024, and are currently in discussions with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development for the financing of this road. His prayer number 2 is that why is the construction of bridges, including Adoka, Umol, Aniza, Ora, Nyagak, and Ayuda, moving slowly? Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, my response is that for the bridges, Adoka, that is Adrua, Omoro, Umol, Aniza, Ora, Nyagak, and Ayuda along Nebi Paida, Padea, Zombo, Zeu, Walvura, Ria. Only Adrua Bridge is under construction, with the bridge structure complete and the construction of access roads ongoing. Umul, Aniza, Ora, Nyagak, and Ayuda are in fair condition, although they are a single lane. They will be upgraded during the upgrade of Vura Goli Nebi Road. The contractor is already on site. His prayer number 4 is that can Dei, Panyimul, Pakwach, Wadel, Waderai, Rino Camp, Obonji, Lalopi, Dufaile, Economic, Dufiri, Economic and Tourism and Security Road be included and fast-tracked on an oil road, since it is in the oil belt. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and members, is that oil roads are those meant to facilitate the exploration and transportation of oil. The Ministry of Works and Transport will engage the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to assess and advise that the stated oil roads. Feasibility studies and detailed designs will be carried out in the medium term and as resources may permit. Question number 3 came from Honorable Shatz Kutesa Musherure, MP Maogora County. Our prayer 1, that we successful launch of electricity access scale-up project. Could the Honorable Prime Minister explain why there has been a delay in the project implementation? My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the electricity access scale-up project was designed to increase consumer connections in the country by targeting over 1 million new connections. The connections commenced in March 2024, and over 100,000 new consumers have so far been connected. The connections are limited to no pole and one pole service based on the first come, first service. The connections program is therefore still ongoing. Our prayer number 2 is that, furthermore, could there be clarification as to whether the project prioritizes grid extension, all service connections for the beneficiaries, and what timelines are in place for its rollout? Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, my response is that over the last 10 years, government concentrated on grid extension across the country with minimum service connections. The electricity access scale-up project was therefore designed to make service connection for optimal utilization of the existing network. The project covers no pole connection, one pole connections, transfer injections in a radius of about 3 kilometers from the existing network. The third prayer from the honorable member is that what basis were the beneficiaries selected? On what basis were the beneficiaries selected? Given that the project obtained financing of more than 600 million US dollars, government must justify why people in of Mahogora North remain underserved. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, is that based on the above project design, Sembabule is a beneficiary of electricity access scale-up project. Government is also developing the grid expansion and support to Paris development project to address the issues of unelectrified administrative offices, public institutions, and value addition centers, of which Sembabule is a beneficiary. Surveys have started from West Nile and will soon roll out to other parts of the country. The Honorable Rose Abiga, District Woman Representative Terego. Her prayer is that requested for an update on the illegal mining activities in Onivu Village, Okavu Parish, Odupi Sub-County, Terego District. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, is that on 20th January 2025, a joint team visited the site where illegal mining activities were reported. Upon investigations, it was established that the illegal mining activities were being conducted by Kwang Mining Company Limited, a company holding an exploration license EL 00383 with jurisdiction of operation in Yumbe and Obongi districts. The company was found to be operational or to be operating outside its licensed area, specifically in Terego district, in violation of the terms of its license. That Honorable Speaker and honorable members, as a result, all mining activities at the site were immediately suspended and operations were halted to prevent further environmental degradation and oil spills in the area. To further address this matter, the ministry, through the Inspector of Miners for the West Nile region, undertook a detailed inspection visit to the area on Tuesday, 4th February 2025. It was confirmed that operations were not within the jurisdiction of the company licensed. The operations were illegal, being undertaken under an exploration license. Kwang Mining Company Limited was directed to remove all its machinery and equipment from the site and evacuate the site entirely. The company was advised to restore environmental damages caused by its activities. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, artisanal miners were encouraged to form associations to register and acquire artisanal mining licenses. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, a show cause notice will be issued to the company for potential cancellation of its license, namely EL 00383, due to non-compliance. Honorable George Didi, MP Obongi constituency, that Obongi Sinyanya ferry operations have been on hold since 10th February this year due to bad landing site and mechanical problems. Efforts have been made to contact the Ministry of Works and Transport, regional and national offices to provide urgent repairs to the Obonji ferry, but repairs have not been done up to now. The breakdown of this ferry affects pupils who cross from Sinyanya on daily basis to attend classes in Obonji, patients who access health services in Obonji Health Center 4, and the business fraternity who transport goods from Arua, Ajumani to Juba in South Sudan. And his prayer is that what steps have been taken by the Ministry of Works to expeditiously restore the Obonji ferry operations. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, is that between August and early December 2024, the water levels, as you all know, at Obonji Sinyanya ferry crossing increased tremendously. And this necessitated us to raise the landing sites to match the new water levels in order to ensure safe ferry operations. Between mid-December 2024 and January 2025, the water levels at the same ferry crossing dropped significantly, making the ferry operations risky and challenging. Despite the operational difficulties, the ferry team was able to continue with ferry operations up to 10th February this year, when the ferry itself experienced a fatal challenge on one of its 3 operations engines. The new engine challenge led to the temporary closure of the ferry crossing in order to safeguard passengers and the ferry crew. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the repair of the faulty engine is ongoing and will be fully restored. In addition, temporary civil works will also be completed by 26 February, but now I think they must be completed by now. It is anticipated that the ferry operations at Obonji Sinyanya ferry will resume today. I hope today they resume. We shall find out whether they have resumed. The 6th question came from Honorable Achayo Julie, MP Ngora County. She started by thanking government for constructing a bridge at Alelis that connects Ngora to the neighboring Parisa district. The construction of the bridge is complete, and the road is by and large usable. However, since the completion of the bridge, the approach, all part of the road that connects the bridge has not been properly worked on to provide seamless transition from the road to the bridge structure. There is a sudden change in elevation at the bridge, which is a potential cause of accidents. Furthermore, after heavy rains, water tends to flood in the area surrounding the bridge, making it look like an island and rendering the road impassable. She asks, or her prayer is, that the Ministry of Works and Transport quickly responds to this concern and ensures that the proper approach is constructed to allow a smooth access to the bridge, and also introduce culvert crossings that are necessary to eliminate the flooding at Alelis. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, that the Ministry of Works and Transport signed a contract with MS Coil Limited and the Motorways Construction JV on April 24th, 2019 for the construction of Alelis Bridge in the Palisa district. At the same time these concerns were raised, the contractor had completed the bridge, although the approach road work was still ongoing. The contractor provided a temporary diversion to allow limited access to the community. I'm pleased to report that the project, including the bridge and approach road, has since been substantially completed and is now being used by the community for its intended purpose. The seventh question came from Honorable Biraro Gashanga Ephraim, MP Buweju, Buweju West County. He says, as we may be aware, His Excellency the President, through the NRM Manifesto 2016-2021, 2021-2026, and his several public pronouncements, has been pledging Bwizibwera, Nsika, Nyakashaka, Nyakabirizi Road, with 2 spurs, Kabohe and Bihanga Katerera. That Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the process has not only been delayed but tampered with according to the current plans geared by UNRA. The road now apparently stops at Nsika, but priority is given to the Kabohe Spur. While we would not envy any question of the road being worked on, our concerns are raised by the total neglect and sidelining of an important section of 45.8 kilometers of Nsika, Nyakasharara, Nyakabirizi Road, which was meant to serve several tea factories, and traversing these 3 districts of Uhweju, Shema, and Bushenyi. I have personally written letters to UNRA, Ministry of Works and Transport, Office of the Prime Minister, and President's Office, but no valid attention has been paid to my pleas. And his prayer is a request that we take interest in this matter and provide an update. That Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, Bwizibwera, Nsika, Nyakashaka, Nyakabirizi Road with a spur at Tukabohe is in NDP3 and in the NRM Manifesto of 2021-2026. The road is being implemented in phases. Even yesterday, the President, while in Bushenyi, talked about the same road. And that the road will be implemented in phases. Civil Works commercial contract for the upgrade of Wizwera Nyakambu Ushika with the SPAT Kaboye was signed in March 2023 and awaits confirmation of financing before physical works can commence. A detailed designs for the upgrade of Usika Nyakashaka and Nyakabirizi Road, 48.3 kilometer, are currently ongoing and is expected to be completed by May 2025. Thereafter, procurement of civil works, the contractor will commence. Right Honorable Speaker, upgrading of Usika Ibanda, Kabujogera, Mashoro, Rwenjaza, Chambura has been considered in the NTP4 and will be prioritized subject to availability of resources. Question number 8. Right Honorable Speaker, I want on this note to thank you because members are no longer giving me details, too many words, and that's why I'm now on question number 8. Honorable Shati Musherule, Maogoran County North, that following the dissolution of both Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, and Uganda Road Fund as a part of rationalization process. According to her prayer is, could the office of the Prime Minister clarify how people of Maogoran North Zimbabwe will ensure the completion of the promised Akagali Bridge, which connects Gomba to Zimbabwe district. I think how they could be done. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the Akagali Bridge on River Katonga is on a district road. Following the request from the area members of Parliament, the former Uganda Roads Authority intervened and installed culverts that made the location motorable. The district will be advised to complete the outstanding works using the 1 billion. Number 9, Honorable Michael Timuzigu, Kamugisha MP, Kajara County, that all counties in Uganda were turned into districts except 19, which are in the districts of Untungamo, Isinjiro, Kasese, and Tororo. These districts are treated like former counties in the provision of all services and staff, and that each has 1 road maintenance unit, 1 district hospital, get the same share of government-sponsored students in public universities, get the same share of sponsored students in public universities, get the same share of seed schools and construction of primary school, to mention but a few. According to Honorable Timuzigu, that these districts have therefore not been able to fairly benefit from decentralization policy and are slowly being left behind in development. For example, in Ntungamo, parents have to first build primary classrooms up to window level for the district local government to come in and do the completion, and this is against the government policy of no fees payment in UPE schools. His prayer, when is government going to complete the harmonization of district sizes by giving the remaining 19 counties a district status to start developing at the rate of other districts. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, my response is that the Ministry of Local Government issued a moratorium suspending creation of any new local government units, all alteration of boundaries in April 2021, under which we are still operating until a new position is approved by government. Number 10, Honorable Kamuntu Moses, MP, Rubanda County West, that there is a deplorable state of roads in Rubanda County West. For instance, Ruhija Sub-County, Kara to Nsanjere, Kara to Mengo, Byamihanda, Nsajare to Nyamasinda via Mashoho, 150 kilometers. Mujera to Kagunga, 10 kilometers. Mijera to Kishaje, Rwabuhandame and Zaire to Rwasheyeza to Hakabale, 12 kilometers. Roads are in critical state, riddled with deep potholes, eroded surfaces, and frequent vehicle breakdowns. Over 20 kilometers of roads in Ruhija have been devastated by landslides, cutting off access to Windy National Park, Rubanda County West County Park, and worsening the economic struggles of the region. The people of Rubanda West can no longer endure these conditions, and that he urges government to act immediately by rehabilitating these roads to restore transportation, economic activity, and essential services. The Minister of Works and Transport, and UNRWA is no longer there. The Minister of Works and Transport must prioritize this crisis. My response, Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, the issue raised is noted. The national roads will be, those are national roads, and they will be prioritized for maintenance in Q4. Additionally, the district will be advised to prioritize the district roads under the rehabilitation program. Honourable Speaker and members, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Prime Minister, in the new rules that we have made, which will start being effective very soon, we have reduced your time for that, for giving the written submissions to 20 minutes, and then the oral 40 minutes. But for today, we can have few orals. Honourable Kwizera, 1 minute.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you very much.
1 minute.
I would wish to remind the Right Honourable Prime Minister about...
Honourable Prime Minister, we have also agreed, in the rules, that we can dedicate 1 day in a month, 1 whole day for members' questions, so that you can be able to have all your ministers here who will help you handle each and everything. Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Prime Minister knows that it is a government policy where in each sub-county we are supposed to have a government-aided secondary school. In Uchimbiri County, we don't have such facilities in Nyarutembe sub-county, in Uchimbiri County, sub-county, and in Chirundo sub-county. This is the 4th year we are in Parliament. I would request that the Prime Minister gives me the best answer to tell those people who also pay tax, but they are not equally facilitated. I thank you.
Thank you.
Honourable Speaker and honourable members, it is true we have a policy as a government to have a secondary school in every sub-county. And we have been doing this in a phased manner. You are aware that we had the U-Gift program, which phased out, but we continue as government using our national funds to work on the secondary schools. I promise that all the secondary schools in the country, which are not yet, all the sub-counties without a secondary school will be handled in a phased manner.
Thank you. Mbabazi.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, mine is an issue I'd like to draw to the attention of the Right Honourable Prime Minister. I wrote a question for oral answer to your office on 14th October 2024, and up to now I've not received the response. I expected maybe today to have got the response, but was not there. And the question was about the processing of land titles for the bona fide occupants of rotated resettlement scheme. Right Honourable Speaker, I request that the Right Honourable Prime Minister tells us as to when the people of rotated settlement scheme will be allowed to process their own titles or government issues their own the titles to the people. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the questions that I answer here are submitted to the office of the Clerk of Parliament, not my office in the Prime Minister's office. Maybe that could have caused the delay. So I request that members, your questions should be taken to the office of the Clerk of Parliament. And the issue of land titles in Rutete, I request that she comes to my office. We engage the Ministry of Lands to see that we handle this problem. You know, that was formerly my district. I was a member of Parliament covering that whole region.
Thank you, Honorable Ede, Honorable Lanya. I'm looking at those who have not spoken. Yes. Richard, Catherine, let's first start that, then we.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, last year you made a directive here after presenting an issue about the land titles that were issued in the area that hasn't been degazetted, that is South Busoga Central Forest Reserve. And we made a commitment and a directive that all those titles should be cancelled. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to state that up to now, the land titles are still on the system. May I know, Right Honorable Prime Minister, when your directives be implemented?
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the land titles in the Forest Reserve of Busoga, the caveat was issued on them, so nobody can transact business with the same as we finalize the processes of cancellation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Right Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to bring to your attention the issue of wildfires in Omoro. We have lost over 150 homes to wildfires, so it's a prayer that
I wanted the Prime Minister to first rest after.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, I want to draw your attention to the wildfires in Omoro. I know it is not, it's not a question per se, but it's an emergency right now, Right Honorable Prime Minister. We have over 150 homes affected by wildfires, and at the moment, we're just crying to you for help to support the families. Even the church is affected, so the district is processing the disaster report, but I thought I'd bring it to your attention for immediate action. Thank you very much.
You. The wildfires, especially during this dry season.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have taken note, and as my brother Honorable Andrew Olanya has noted that the report has not yet been delivered, I request that the report is delivered as soon as possible, but I'll also coordinate with Red Cross to provide the non-food items as soon as possible.
Honorable Abe, it is also our responsibility as leaders to educate our youth somewhere there, to stop hunting those those smaller things during this dry season, because that's where the fire comes from.
Right Honorable, I do agree with you, because in issues of disaster, people getting information is very pertinent. And my appeal to leaders from areas where some of our communities still involve themselves in going to hunt for some of the animals which are a delicacy to them, to avoid doing that, because it's becoming an issue. People are losing property, people are losing lives. I was told of a situation where a house got burnt and a child died. So this is something I want our leaders to collectively roll down to talk about it and sensitize our people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before Richard comes in, Madam Prime Minister, in the sitting of yesterday, we had an issue where, first of all, the members of parliament here appreciate and highly appreciate what government has done to the districts in terms of road maintenance. That's why you find that they are not making a lot of noise on road fund or whichever. They highly appreciate because of the 1 billion shillings. However, they are saying, much as they go to that,